Hey everybody, welcome to the show. Good evening. It's nice to be back with you. I feel like we had a lovely dinner. We went out, we had Mexican food. So if there's any extra sound effects tonight, I'm going to apologize ahead of time. And I think most of you should be prepared. I certainly am. And did you guys hear that? I'm just checking. Sound check? Sound check? Sound check? I think so. All right. Hopefully, I'll check it. You didn't stream last show there. No Facebook notification. Interesting. Okay, let me see if I can. Yes, because there was a new update, um, and sometimes there's a let's see. There's the Facebook sending data, and then not sending data. Three, two. I'm turning it off and turning it back on. We'll see if it goes on its own. Give it a second. It says sending data. We'll see if it's online yet. There may be issues with Facebook right now. I might be broomed. They might be messing with me. It's hard to say. Um, Important to check in on those kind of things. Hmm. Yeah, it just says sending data. It doesn't actually have the. That's curious. Um, hmm. Yeah, that's weird. Very, very weird. Um, I will have to remedy that before radio tomorrow, but such is life. Um, it certainly affects our viewership, I have no doubt, but it also affects our trollage. It might have been the there is no Hunter Biden laptop title just got me kicked off for something. I might have gotten a term of service violation for just even bringing it up. Who's watching Chip, Summer, and Ethan? Family's there. All's well. Fear not. I would never leave my cat unattended. All right. So where were we? Okay. The last time we were gathered earlier today, we were with Jimmy Dore and one of his lackeys, who he hides behind graphics about 60% of the time. With oddly enough, no look at the quality of this bullshit. Like since we've been traveling in the road, I stopped using Ecamm and I went back to using Streamlabs OBS because it gave me the access to the green screen behind me. And in the last 2 days, while I've been busting my hump, running around, dragging canoes out of the lake so that they don't get filled with rain, dragging them up the hillside and turning them upside down, taking the dogs for a walk, going out to dinner with family. We went and bought Camden some new pants because he's growing like a reed. In that amount of time, I have had the ability to reformat my entire set, set up two little minor side lights, these guys, see this, on the side to make the green screen cut out a little better. Put my my window in here, and I can pop down a little bit. Hi. Um, in here and put the video that I'm talking over in this screen, work on the audio a little bit. Hopefully I've remedied some of it. It's been very quirky. I'm not quite sure what the issue is, but I've been chipping away at it by myself doing this stuff. Um, Formatting this, putting it in place. Okay, that's just in 2 days on my laptop. Meanwhile, Jimmy has been doing this show with this mic in this chair with that bullshit curtain background in front of a green screen for fucking ever. And so the idea that he couldn't create a second lens where his guest, whoever these assholes are, couldn't appear in the upper corner while he plays something right here that's the primary, even not cutting himself out. Um, my loopback audio just freaked out. Let's see if we back this up. See if we get, okay, I reopened it. Hopefully everything's okay. Yike. Did the mic cut out? And it went out? Yeah, it was just being that way. Although this is direct, so I'm not, it's back. Hey. Yeah, the audio, it gave me an audio warning. Something was weird. Something's up. I think, here's what I think. Ha ha ha. I did a system update yesterday or day before when we started hearing the clicky pop. I think loopback isn't updated yet. That could be the thing. Did they do an update? Hold on one second. Check for updates. Nope, that's the latest. All right, well, we will just limp by, ladies and gentlemen. All righty. How you doing? Hopefully, we will be able to get by. Let me see, by the way, if you guys can still hear audio.
This is like, yeah.
Yep, there you go. Okay, so hopefully it won't be too clicky poppy awful. If it is, I apologize. Again, that's something I can't necessarily do anything about other than everything that I've been trying. You know what I mean? There's only so much I can do in the context of this, right? So the clicky pop is still happening, right? I had nightmares about Jimmy Dore. I understand. What do we have for the show tonight? Well, I'm going to pick up where I left off with this nonsense. Where the last time we saw James and whatever rando he is bringing on to just, I guess, I think he's broadcasting live from Mario's mega church from Flashpoint. Is that what it is? Just the sun behind his head with this. It's not grandiose or anything. Speaking through a Blue Yeti, you know. It obviously he's not on the same level as Jimmy. Jimmy's using a $400+ Sony. You know, he went full Joe Rogan on it. He's getting the quality one. Meanwhile, his guest is, stumbling by with whatever he can get at Best Buy. Right? Yes. So we're picking. Yes, it is the Earth. That's true. Not all Yetis are blue. That's right. So this heavy pack. I was just sort of doing a room rating on this fucked up production of Jimmy's, which is very disappointing, considering the amount of money Jimmy is making and how shitty he treats his guests, all the while glomming off of whatever input they're putting in, right? Their jokes are his jokes. Their thoughts are his thoughts, because it's the Jimmy Dore show. And who cares if they say the smart and funny thing? He goes, ha ha, and then that's his, right? He's basically the podcasting character in who does what's the one? Not everything is okay in Oklahoma, or not okay in Oklahoma, whatever that was. How she just like bullies her staff. Yeah, that's what we're talking about here. All right, so let's see. You like the new road background? Thanks. I threw that up and made a little, grab one of these little frames, toss that up, a little movement in there. Made this guy, right, as a constant reminder. If it's too annoying, let me know. But it keeps me from having to say it all the goddamn time, right? His priority is continuity over content. I would just say ego and laziness, right? Anyways, so where we saw them last was they didn't know how to pronounce the Chinese word yuan while discussing how China is going to overtake us and become the reserve currency from an article in 2018 that said it was right around the corner. And now they are citing could be possiblies. And he also pronounced Surrey, as in with the fringe on top. That's where we were last time. So I'm going to guess from the look in both of their eyes that they know even less about the topic than now than when we started the video. I don't know how you do that, but that's true.
That's right, Jimmy. And Joe Biden's going, no.
Yeah, again, hold on. Can we back up and pick up where that thought was? We'll go to here. Yeah, This is the follow-up article by the guy who tweeted that they're going to come up with a program. It's assumed the new system will be based on a new international currency, which will be calculated as an indicator of the national currencies of the participating countries and commodity prices. Right. So again, what we were talking about earlier was he was naming 4 autocracies, dictatorships: China, Russia, like fucking Kazakhstan and Iran or something like that. It's basically like just countries that would otherwise, in the old days would just lop each other's leaders' heads off, are going to somehow create a bureaucracy amongst themselves to agree on a stabilized currency between the 4 of them. That's going to happen. Yeah.
International currency. Uh-oh.
Again, that's easy. You just make one, right? Shitcoin. Oh, that was weird.
Participating countries.
Okay, now I'm getting grisly audio. All right, let's do something else. That was weird.
Any of that means. The first draft will be up for discussion by the end of March, according to Capital. So they're making their own currency. They're
just going to make their own currency. They're just going to take monopoly money and print on top of that. And even they haven't agreed on it. And it's of course China, Russia, Saudi Arabia, and one other country, Iran, not Iran, because Saudi Arabia and Iran are at each other's throats in the same way that Russia and China aren't necessarily buddies, but that's another story. They're all going to agree on a stable, secondary, international, limited, by the way, international currency just for the 4 of us. We can make it if we try.
Business Insider, Saudi Crown Prince.
Snubbed Biden's request to discuss the oil crisis brought on by, because they've only got one option right now. We don't need their oil. And the oil, the Americans are not buying Saudi oil. We don't need it. We buy Russian oil sometimes because the companies do, because it's frigging cheap. The only reason we need them to, either raise or lower the amount of oil they're putting out is to stabilize prices. And they have no interest in doing that. They have to go for all the money they can get right now because they got bottomed out by COVID.
Snubbed Biden's request to discuss the oil crisis brought about by Russia's invasion of Ukraine. So it seems like it's all over.
That's very weird. That's the tail end of this thing? Hold on.
In the world? I don't know.
You mean vague corporate reasons, Jimmy?
Yeah.
Hold on. Yeah, here you go. This is where they were. I don't know why that did that, but that's weird.
We might just go into a tailspin and never recover.
Look at their pictures. It looks like MBS is like, yeah, that's right, Jimmy. And Joe Biden's going, no.
It's funny how Business Insider chose pictures. And that's what the pictures look like. They look like he's going, yeah, that's right, Jimmy. That's exactly what MBS looks like. What? What kind of egomaniacal horseshit is this?
You want to see? We showed you this before. Here is the prince from Saudi Arabia and Putin. Look how happy they are. They high-five each other.
Yeah, this is a while back. And this is certainly, this is supposedly after they were at each other's throats with this battle to produce more oil. If you'll recall, Trump had to go over and supposedly negotiate between the two of them. And what ultimately happened? We lowered our output and we paid for Mexico to lower theirs. So either they were rope-a-doping the United States on price, which is entirely possible, and Trump fell for it, or they were really involved in a game of chicken, and we had to cut our own throat for a while to get them to back down, and now they're just posturing. Who gives a shit?
Those guys are pals.
Wonder what they're high-fiving over.
They're all smiles and shits and giggles.
Look at that. Like they just
Look
made
at
a
that.
new currency.
Like they just made a new currency.
Yeah, they didn't. That's old.
Wow.
Saudi invites China's President Xi as relations with Washington remain soured.
Yeah, good luck with that. Xi Jinping has not left China since 2020, and he ain't gonna. Sure shit is not gonna go to a country where they throw a reporter in a wood chipper.
Is that how you pronounce his name? Xi or
G, it's G.
Xi?
Oh, motherfucker. It's she. It's she, as in, she walks by moonlight. No one really knows. She's got a way about her. That kind of she. It's pronounced that way, not G.
Xi?
G. Yeah.
Fuck you.
Zha Zha.
Like Xi?
No, it's not like Zha Zha. Go back to try and pronounce the fucking currency yuan again.
Oh, Xi.
G. Yeah.
Saudi
Yeah, it's like that. No, it isn't.
invites China's President Xi as relations with Washington remain soured. It looks like we fucked up.
Yeah, it fucked up. Yeah. We've soured our relationship with China right about the time they were conducting a genocide, sterilizing Uyghur women, and creating rape camps. I don't know why we can't get along. You're right, Jimmy. Gosh, I don't know what we thought we were doing. Why in the world would we turn on...
It looks like it's all over, and it looks like Joe Biden and NATO did this.
Yes, Joe Biden and NATO did this. Did what? And again, the only solution to something like Saudi Arabia doing this, the reason behind things like the Iraq War were arguably to keep the petrodollar going. And Joe Biden going, yeah, we're not doing wars for oil anymore, and we're moving off of oil entirely. So we don't give a shit if you trade in oil. We've got other things worth trading in the United States. We can produce things that the globe values, including the best vaccines that exist against this disease and all of the technology used to implement it worldwide and distribute it.
It's like they're saying, no, you're canceled.
Can you believe that Wall Street would let this happen? Like this, I need somebody.
Jimmy, I was going
What is his complaint here? Can you believe Wall Street would let this happen? Here's an idea, Jimmy. It ain't happening. How about you just want Biden and America to lose so badly that you are monkey branching between articles 4 years apart, selling a narrative that you both want and think is a disaster. Their volume's low? Okay, hold on one second. I'll see if I can bring that up a touch.
say, like, that makes me like extra afraid there's going to be World War III, because I'm
That's
like,
right.
well, what would they do to prevent this?
Right, World
That's
War.
why-
Yes. What would they do to prevent this consideration that might be happening that was also considered 4 years ago? What we need World War III. Why? To stop 4 countries that are run by dictators from forming a bureaucratic alliance to agree on via committee the value of each of their currencies and create an intermediate currency that operates against their own currency and agree on that shit. Yeah, good luck. Fucking hell. Yeah, we're gonna fight World War III because those 4 countries think they can do this. When?
That's what I got.
So this is, this is not good.
This is not good. It's not good. I mean, it's supposedly stuff that I was for happening and now I'm against it, but only because Biden's in and it's bad but good at the same time, and America deserves it, but if it happens, it's terrible. What is being even said here?
This is going to be bad for us economically. And this was the big idea of Joe Biden and the Democrats.
What was it? What was the big idea? What big idea? Like, I don't even know that you're losing him. He's having a stroke. What? Does anybody know what the fuck he's actually presenting as an idea here?
To do all this.
To do all this. This is Biden's idea. What I'll do is I'll prevent Russia from murdering a bunch of Ukrainians by providing them Javelin missiles and take the presidency away from Donald Trump right as he's ignored the Uyghur genocide and all these other things until a global pandemic happened. And then I'm going to participate in the greatest reshoring of factories in the United States history. And that got us in trouble. He doesn't know what he's presenting as an idea. I don't think he does. That's the thesis. That's the thesis. Yeah, we're fucked. America sucks. We deserve it, but it's Biden's fault. Like, I don't know what the fuck he's talking about. This is 12 minutes of brutal horseshit. and this is, I think, the most obvious and blatant ignorance Jimmy has ever displayed on his show. Like, he's always been over his head on all of these topics, and he's always sort of like piggybacked on what he believes is the knowledge of other people, which is really not knowledge. It's a frighteningly intense bias by a bunch of these people that he has on his guests regularly. And he just kind of piggybacks them around going, see, I know the smart people. But neither one of them knows what the fuck they're talking about, even on the basic level.
Did no one see this coming? I just can't believe they didn't see. You really think you could do this to Russia and China and they wouldn't sit there and make their own currency?
Do this to Russia and China? Do what? What is he saying we're doing to Russia and China? Not letting Russia take Ukraine, standing up to China, threatening Taiwan, and moving our factories back home because COVID was fucked up, and every dime we ever made offshoring factories to China was all lost. Every ounce of profit that companies got moving their factories to China and benefiting from that lower wage worker and all that kind of stuff for 30 fucking years, all of it gone in 2 years. Gone. Businesses cratered, profits through the floor. Every single benefit from having a factory and making money on making products on the cheap in China ultimately cost you more in the end. And everybody knows it now. Everybody's aware of this. It wasn't worth it. And companies that are around for more than 8 years at a time know this now and are getting out. They're going to South Korea. They're going to Vietnam. They're going to Czechoslovakia, or the Czech Republic, rather. But again, have you look at his, like, he doesn't even know what the fuck he's arguing. What is he arguing?
I think the people that are supposed, that see this coming, they made all kinds of plans that had nothing to do with this. And then the people that should have been making plans were just getting paid off. So they didn't.
Oh, yeah, totally. They were getting paid off to look the other way, to not look at the thing that we want to have happen. And as it's happening, we don't want it to happen, but it's happening. And what? What is this? This is just pro-Trump blather. This is Democrats bad for only the reason that if anything works. I mean, honestly, if China's engaging in a current genocide of the Uyghurs, there's no question about this. And though it's a minor part of their population, statistically speaking, it is absolutely going on right now. So having a factory in China and benefiting from a low wage there, from a business standpoint, is a horrifying mistake. And so fewer and fewer companies are willing to continue to make that mistake and look the other way. And so they're starting to broom out piece by piece. And we don't have anything to gain from them anymore. The cost of hold on. Let me show you something. Let's see. Wage costs China versus Mexico. Yeah, here you go. This is just 2020. Is Mexico manufacturing more cost effective than China when it comes to wages? According to Statista, from 2019 to 2020, manufacturing labor costs per hour for China increased from 578 to 650 US dollars, while Mexico experienced a smaller increase from 466 to 482 over the same time period. Of course, it's necessary to take into account the level and wage difference between jobs in both countries when making comparison, but consider the cost versus value between the two countries. In addition to lower labor costs than China, the value of a workforce in Mexico makes nearshore manufacturing an alluring strategic move. First, Mexico recognizes greater productivity with a 48-hour work week compared to the usual 40 work week before overtime is considered in China. So not only do you get you get workers working at a lower wage in Mexico, they don't get overtime until 48 hours. That's just how the Mexican economy works. And while they get a siesta in some areas of the country, they that 2-hour block they add on to the end of the day. Second, the regional government in Mexico invests and promotes education and training programs, specifically in technical industries, to support the skills necessary to excel in manufacturing in various types of roles. There are over 2,500 higher education institutions, much of which partner with the U.S. and other foreign companies for projects that teach and train the local workforce specializing in industrial skills. Third, there's a unique opportunity working with Mexico shelter companies to maximize cost savings in all areas of operations, including hiring and retaining top employees. This is pretty consistent. Here's a graph of it if you want to look. This is Statista, and they know I'm on here. All right. So this is 2016, 2020. There we go. The green is there. All right. So costs in U.S. dollars for an hourly wage. So this is how it used to be, right? And it used to and you got what it was the blue for it used to be here, 2016, 2017. This is 2016 to 2020. Okay, so they're all going up slightly. But Mexico right here, boom, in 2016 was lower than China. But they built all these factories over time and was playing catch up in what they could do. Still, in China right now, you're talking about $6.50 for hourly workers on average over there. And in Mexico, you're talking about $4.80. If you're a company and you want to make something, they have skilled workers. Their workers are cheaper than China's. And you don't have to boat the stuff across the globe. You have a lower carbon footprint just because you're trucking it up. Do you think Jimmy and this jackass know that? Do you think they care? Do you think they have any idea at all? Good Lord.
They're worrying about it. And then there's going to be a war. That's what I think.
That's what I think. It's just going to have a war because that's what they do. I mean, that's what I think they do. So that must be what they do.
Well, there you go. And
what do you mean, there you go? What goes? What is this? What the fuck is even the argument here? Do you know? Does anybody know what the fuck the argument is besides America bad and we're probably and Biden to blame, which is just based on what? What is the action Joe Biden took? Not being friendly to Russia attacking Ukraine, not being friendly to China, allegedly over the last 20 years stealing jobs in the offshoring process, and of course murdering Uyghurs. Is Biden somehow not supposed to do that? I swear to God, I honestly don't. Hey, hola in Ontario, hello.
You never even knew about the petrodollar because they never talk about it on the news.
That's because it's not an actual thing. It's a term.
Not until I start watching the show did I ever hear of it. Yeah. Even in passing. No.
Really? It sounds like you don't even hear about it in passing now.
But in passing, you never hear of the petrodollar.
It seems strange because it seems really important.
Seems really important. I remember I had on That guy from Andrew Johnson, he writes for Fair or whatever. I had him on and I brought it up, but he looked at me like a Martian just shit me out of an egg. He was like, "Why would you even think about that?" I don't know.
Yeah,
Maybe it's because
that's
the
like vague
basis.
corporate.
It's like the basis for everything that happens in the world. I don't know.
I mean,
Because it isn't. It isn't the basis for everything that happens in the world. It never was. Like there's definitely some war for oil issues that America's been involved in, but we're not the only country involved in that. I mean, do you think you don't think Russia's invasion of both Georgia, Chechnya, and Ukraine doesn't have to do with the natural resources available there? And the vast majority of natural resources in a bunch of places where China's moving into Africa, for example. You don't think that has to do with oil and gas, but also lithium and aluminum and all kinds of other shit? There's resource wars have been going on for a long time, but the petrodollar is not the specific point. They even said 80% of financial transactions happen in the US dollar. 80% of financial transactions aren't the petrodollar. It's good Lord.
big corporate reasons, Jimmy.
Yes, cobalt. Great point, Lucius. Again, God help us. I have no idea what the fuck the point was there. I mean, we should have known.
We went off the gold standard.
Hi, stupid. We started this video with this bullshit. China is days away from killing the petrodollar is the title of this fucking thing. And look at the date. He just put this up because it's March 23rd, and he's like, I'm convinced. They'll just see the March 23rd part, even though that's, what, tomorrow? What's or 2 days from now, right? 3 days? I don't know. I've lost track. I'm on vacation. Calm down. 2018. Eat a bag of frog assholes. And then this is the whole, like, China's days away from killing the petrodollar. It's going to happen. And then he shows these other clips making the same prediction that was made in this article 4 fucking years ago that didn't happen, and going, ha ha, ha 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 ha. And then he spends the entire time not even knowing how to pronounce the fucking terms in the conversation. And then I swear, all right, let's see if we can find this again. The single dumbest, where'd he do it? Is this where it is?
Yuan. You pronounce it yuan. So Saudi Arabia considers accepting yuan instead.
It's yuan. It's not yuan. It's not y'all. Oh, and this is where the renminbi shit happened. So renminbi is what Chinese people call their currency.
Of dollars for Chinese oil sales. Do we know what the pronunciation is on that?
It looks like it's yuan.
I think it's
Hold
yuan.
on.
Hey Siri,
Fucking Surrey.
what is the currency in China?
Renminbi is the currency of People's Republic of China.
The what? The renminbi?
The renminbi. Ugh. And it just got worse. Dude, if you can't even pronounce the fucking words, don't discuss the topic. Why in God's name would I take anything you're saying seriously? The renminbi? What did you just heard her say? Renminbi. Renminbi. Fucking hell. Anyway, so that it just got worse from there. Now, by the way, you're watching HAL SPARKS Mega Worldwide. This is the roadshow version. So please don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. Like and subscribe. Give a thumbs up. If you're on Twitch, please subscribe. And as far as our Facebook friends, I'm not quite sure why we're off there right now. Hopefully nothing has happened. That would be not good. That I got bounced because of the title of some of my stuff or something. Oh, Turn on Facebook Protect. Next. Finish. Done. Okay. Something went wrong. Excellent. There we go. Okay. I turned on Facebook Protect and there we go. So apparently, whoops, hold on. Okay, I don't care about the navigation stuff. Thank you. Please go away. Hey, look out. All right, now we go to that page and hopefully, so it was something on Facebook that was kicking me off. Now, there we go. So give me 1 second. And I should be up on Facebook in just 1 second. Where's Restream? There you go. Don't know why that is. Very curious. So I'm just fixing something while we do this. All right, burp. Boop, 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 boop. Turn this off. Turn it back on when it gets its ass together. Oh, yes. Turn it back on. Here we go. Sending data. Shouldn't take too long. Let's all do it now. Hey, look at that. I'm on Facebook. Yay, we fixed it. That's what did it. Hooray. Apparently it was just like an update over there where they were like, yeah, fixing stuff. Dump. And I'll switch over there to live producer and then we'll be up and running. Look at that. Hey, Facebook, what's happening? Hi, welcome to the show. Sorry, I wasn't on earlier on Facebook for some reason. There was an update in their security session. Hold on 1 second. I'm clicking something off because it's covering my screen. There were some updates in the security settings, and I had to say yes to a bunch of questions before I could live stream again. Hi, how are you? How have you been? I've been fine. Good to see you. Welcome back. Like and subscribe. If you're on Facebook, you can support the show with stars. You can give stars. Oh, good Lord, that's loud. In the let's see, what in the maybe that was the jar being loud. Good Lord. Okay, so here we are. Oh, a stars party challenge. Oh, is that what's happening there? I see. I've got to close that page, otherwise I'll get deafened by stars. Hey, look out. And we're back. Yay. All right. Link it to Facebook. All good. I don't know what Facebook is. Does anybody know anymore? Meta. I'm on Meta. Yes, that's true. Subscribe on Twitch with Amazon Prime. It won't cost you a dime. I'm just saying. Okay. So by the way, Jimmy Dore is kind of creating the dum-dum version of the other argument that's going around in the Glenn Beck world and stuff. So this is huge ripple effects of today's oil market instability is the name of this article. And it says, what exactly is going on with the oil industry, the petrodollar, Russia, China, and the U.S.? Professor and economy expert David Buckner joins Glenn to break it all down. He explains how current oil sanctions have caused massive market instability. And he details ripple effects around the world, especially the U.S. dollar, may experience as a result of it all. This is, I think Jimmy wanted to get a video up, a bit, pretending he knows what's going on. Also, this is cut from, I think, a similar show as we saw yesterday, or they keep going to Sonic. Now, I guess Glenn is hooked on Sonic right now. We shall see.
I want you to break down. By the way, David is a professor adjunct. Are you adjunct or are you full professor yet?
No, I'm a full professor, but adjunct at Columbia University.
Okay.
I'm a full professor, just not at the place where you say I'm a full professor.
Columbia University, you're the president of Bottom Line Training and Consulting. You train CEOs and companies on how to run their business better, blah, blah, blah.
Blah, blah, blah. Yeah, if it wasn't for this guy, CEOs wouldn't know how to CEO.
It's been institutionalized in the program that you created for Columbia University, and it's now taught in every region of the world.
Yes, and every CEOing is taught in every region of the world because David Buckner figured out how to CEO.
You understand economics like few do because you can cut through the BS.
Great. Let's get so why is he on your show?
I am having a hard time getting people to understand what is happening with Russia, China, Saudi Arabia, India, and what's happening to the petrodollar and why that's important.
Yeah, do you get the feeling that like Jimmy Dore watched this video and went, "Ooh, people are going to click on this and they're going to see something else, so we should make one too." Do you know what we're talking about? No, I don't. So neither does Glenn. Didn't stop him.
So where should we start on this, David?
It's a powerful transformation that we're watching. And
Yes.
Unfortunately, to your point, most people are not privy to understanding a little bit of the history. So very simply, Glenn,
They're not privy to understanding a little bit of the history. The secret history, because you're not privy to it. You haven't gone to the privy. When the architect that designed this home was designing the privies, he said to himself, Horatio, what was his name? Let's make them functional and fashionable. What about the privies? It's the latest in open-air orifices with a wide capacity gutter below. You mean you crap out of a window? Yes. Oh, good. I hate those nasty indoor things.
we started back in 1944, the desire to make sure that
Motherfucker. This is like when people bring up Ukraine and they're like, in 1990, decisions were made that were like, motherfucker, these people are doing shit today because they want to do shit today. Will you stop it? Just stop it.
went kind of from this post-World War II period, the Bretton Woods relationship, or the Bretton Woods conference that led to the dollar being linked to gold was a standard by which we had a currency where we could exchange with something that was underlying. It was substantive. So that was easy.
It was substantive until people realized gold just a pretty rock. Actually, certain ceramics are better for superconductors, better than gold, but not pretty.
People could see that. They go, okay, when I'm exchanging paper, I have something substantive. I have a mineral that supports that.
Yeah, a mineral with no inherent value, except for its attractiveness. What if I don't find gold attractive? What if I like wearing silver? What if we have governments where people no longer wear crowns to show they're in charge? I like a pretty rock. Pretty rock, good.
Then in
Yes, if you eat gold, you shit gold. That's it.
1972, when France actually started calling in our bluff and exchanging dollars for gold, which was linked at, I think, $35 the ounce at the time, that's when Nixon took us off the gold standard. So that kind of became Bretton Woods 2. Mm-hmm. That's where we took the dollar and linked it to our exchange of oil. So we call those petrodollars. It was always linked to the value of oil. So that
No, it wasn't.
Wait. That's when we did that in 1972?
That's correct. 1972 to the present is what we would call the petrodollar. That's where the U.S. dollar was linked to the price of oil.
And we said at the time that you can't buy oil anywhere in the world outside of U.S. dollars. That was the only currency that would buy that oil.
And that was the currency by which it was it was a nominal currency by which it was quoted. Okay.
All right.
So
No, Glenn, to answer Glenn's actual question that he just asked, that asshole just dodged. No. You could buy oil in other currencies, but a lot of people wouldn't take your dumbass currency.
the exchanges went between currency A and currency B, it was always through the quotation of a U.S. dollar. So that linked us to
Because we were the stable middleman in this.
that exchange, which really was no longer a hard asset like gold, but it was
A hard asset. I don't want to be a hard asset about this, but this is bullshit.
We would call inside money. Everybody agreed that it's going to go through a term, which is the dollar, using that as the foundation, even if I was exchanging from a euro or a ruble or a yuan.
The euro didn't exist at that point. And the yuan and the Iraqi dinar, for example, these people wouldn't take each other's currencies because they were bullshit.
Okay, but
the only reason the yuan and the dinar has any value right now is because it's stabilized by the existence of the fucking dollar. Take the dollar out, and everybody's fighting over, yeah, my money's worth a lot. No, it isn't. Why? Because you can only spend it in your country. No, you can't. Yes, you can. Fuck off with this nonsense.
Dollar was the anchor. Now,
and the world.
Right. The dollar was the anchor. It had weight. It had substance. It could keep your keel from blowing away in a storm, Glenn.
Hang on just a second. The world was upset at us in 72 because we had promised them that we would always, in Bretton Woods 1, we would always keep to the dollar, standard with gold. And
always.
And then when we violated that.
Yes, like bastards.
We did the oil thing, and then we also said, but the good news is we're going to be consumers. So we'll...
Yeah, that's what we said. We just said, yeah, but hey, we're gonna be consumers. We just told everybody we're going to consume stuff. We didn't actually get rich as a country before we got old as a country, which is the trick in history. That's what you want to have happen. We didn't actually do that. We just told everybody, hey, we're going to consume. Don't worry about it.
Start shipping jobs your way because we're just going to buy. We have everything we need. We're just going to buy your stuff now. So we'll build your economy.
Yeah, that's how it worked. That was exactly what the conversation was. We told everybody we're going to build your economy. No, we protected the world economy as it grew. The only thing is you had to side with us against the Soviet Union because you could either join the communist regime and wait for them to supply all your needs, or make your own way in the world, and we would make sure that your ships didn't get sunk for nothing, for free.
Right?
It was a global, yes, to your point, Glenn, it was the way of saying that we depend upon this being as stable as you do. So we're all in.
Which is true.
Together, okay? So that.
Which is true. It isn't what we were saying. It's actually true.
You're right. There was an anchor that even though we've gone off this mineral, this gold, we've gone to something that we can't let fail and you can't let fail. So kumbaya.
Right. It's actually better than gold. It's mutual trust. That's required. Crazy.
We're all
as opposed to magic rock found in mountain. Jesus Christ.
Together.
Right.
So.
Right, he says. Look at him leaning back like, I'm considering this. Oh God. When I talk about gold and things like this, I get all, there's just so many thoughts going through Glenn Beck's mind that Glenn doesn't even Glenn when he wants to Glenn the way he needs to Glenn. When you're becking and you're trying to Glenn, and Glenning when you're trying to beck, it's so hard. Let me consider this. What's gold? Is everything that glitters gold? Can glitter itself? Is glitter a currency now?
Even though they were upset with us, they bought that principle of trust.
They didn't buy it. They participated in it. And it fucking works.
That no one could betray each other because, well, we all need oil, right?
No. We all need goods. We all need food. Oil is a part of it. We have oil. We have gas. We sell it. We have more than we need. We've always had more than we need.
So that leads us to where we are today, which is this, and I call it the thesis because it really is, it's transitioning, but we're in a vacuum where we go to Bretton Woods 3, okay, which is the next step.
Great. Let me guess. Glenn turns this into Bretton Woods 3 is really, if you think about it, the Great Reset. Have you bought my book yet? The Great Reset? I wrote it with this other dude who comes on as a guest because he ghost wrote it for me. It's a horrifying book. And the cover has Biden and Putin on the front of it. And if it doesn't sell out, we've got to change the cover or reprint it. And I don't think we're going to because nobody's buying it. But if you got a wobbly table, it's great.
That next step now shifts us to something that just occurred this last week, which was sanctions on the very element that we promised would be the bedrock of exchange. When you sanction...
Yes, when you sanction oil, you fuck the whole system. No, you don't.
Right.
Oh, God. When you sanction Russian oil, especially when you're moving off of oil and you have enough of your own, you fuck with the markets so that we all transition to a time when we're not fighting resource wars anymore because no one needs them. Imagine a world of renewables where nobody can fight over the amount of sunlight they're getting.
Good or bad, that's a policy. That's above my pay grade. I'm an economist.
Yeah, I'm an economist. I'm not going to say it's good or bad. Saying it's bad is Glenn's job.
Right? Based upon
Dun, dun, dun. Or, unless they're completely removed from the market, like through the SWIFT system and other areas where, yes, it's cheap, but you can't buy it if you're in the global economy, and that includes China. So if they buy it and it's sanctioned, then they're bucking that, and then they don't get the other benefits of being in this system, which is based on mutual trust and all this other stuff. And there's nothing stopping you from being a gangster economy. Go fuck yourself. Nobody cares.
So now you create...
Oh, the audio is out? The audio went somewhere? The clip audio went someplace? Hold on.
what we call arbitrage.
Clickety pop and Glenn is silenced? That's weird. Did it come back? You heard that one? So weird. Pot causing hearing loss. I came back? That's so odd.
The concept that you don't have stability. There's no stability like gold would have given us.
Jesus Christ. Well, then if it was based on gold, then you'd have to sanction gold trading from Russia. You don't think that would fucking happen? If it was based on gold, nobody could stop anybody. We'd have no economic recompense in this situation. And you know what we'd have? You know what we'd have, Glenn and Dave? You know what we'd have? We'd have wars all the time. Because we wouldn't have an option to do economic sanctions, because it would be based entirely on the value of gold, which was necessary for everybody's currency to mean any fucking thing, which is what we had before when we had the gold standard. When we had the gold standard, the only way to stop a country from doing shit like this was to blow it the fuck up. The fact that we have a giant trust-based system allows for sanctions as a possibility. Is there a give and take in it? Is it precarious? Of course it is. Is it less precarious than bombing the fuck out of a country? No.
Even
Jesus.
petrol would have given us before.
Because gold would have held it.
Carter says, we do have wars all the time, though, Hal. We don't have World War IIs all the time. And civil wars internally in countries like Kenya and other places, or what's going on between Yemen and Saudi Arabia, for example, or Russia and Ukraine, are territorial resource wars, but they are not these and we have options in dealing with them that we did not have when we were on a global standard.
Value no matter where it was from, and you had that value there in your own home country?
Authentic and organic, yes.
Authentic, organic, useless, pretty rocks that everybody could point at and say, that's money for real. I'm sick of this gold bullshit. It's been around for all post 9/11. These ads all over the place. Don't forget, buy gold, have your money in gold. But gold is real money. No, it fucking well isn't. This is not the 14th century. You do not... the crown jewels and the gold that houses them is not how you recognize authority in a country anymore. Badges don't have to be real silver and real gold to have meaning. We operate on an adult system, not pretty rocks.
No, the
Damn.
U.S. carried the largest amount of gold, which is how we negotiated the dollar to be linked to that gold, right?
Yeah.
Right? Because, yes, all fiat currencies were originally based on that because there weren't any other options, because there wasn't international trade. And yet we used to use shells for money too. Shells were real money. I mean, you had to look at them if they were really good. They had to be really good shells.
You still could mineral. I mean, right now, China is the one that is mining more gold than any other country in the world. Okay, so you
And lowering the value of it as a commodity.
still could mine that mineral and you could have it. But when we linked it to the dollar, will be linked to oil in
By the way, China is mining for gold like crazy right now. The more they would put on the market, if the dollar was linked to gold, the more that's out there, the value of the dollar would go down because of the volume of gold that exists. The more gold other countries put in the system, the lower our dollar was worth. They had control of it, not us. What kind of an idiot has a currency that's based on a standard for a rock that's available all over the fucking globe, and anybody who finds some can dig it up and go, I have some too. Your money is worth less. Jesus.
the way in which we barter and negotiate, and then we change the pricing of that oil based upon sanctions. We just threw Bretton Woods 2 or the petrodollar into the tank.
No, we didn't. And again, if the premise is that we did, there's a giant fucking who cares. At some point, I got news for everybody. At some point, oil as a commodity is only going to have value in the excess parts of it that are used to make plastics. There was a time when aluminum was more valuable than gold. And then they figured out how to get it out of bauxite, and now it's cheap. At some point, we're not going to use oil as a fuel source. We just aren't. We're moving towards that. And the move towards net zero and the move away from like coal and all these things like that, and natural gas itself is going to lower the price of oil and the use of oil. The volume that is actually used is going to go down to make it a boutique commodity. Something that is used that you and I would talk about in the same way we would discuss it less than lithium. Lithium would become a more valuable commodity in that regard. And even still, we just discovered a shit ton of it in the Salton Sea here in the United States, in California. We have enough lithium in the Salton Sea and an equal amount in Wyoming for electric car batteries for the next 50 years. And we won't even be using lithium batteries in fucking 50 years.
Threw it away. It's gone. Now, can it be recovered? Well, if sanctions were to go away today, you might be able to recover, but now you have enormous instability in the comfort level of the world.
Yeah, that's what we're worried about. The dollar is tied to comfort.
Saying, wait, if I buy Russian oil, it's really, really cheap, but I can't because sanctions say I can't. Black market enters, okay? Or now I can buy expensive Western oil, which we shut down the pipelines and other things based upon individual policies of countries, right?
Yeah, they're talking about Keystone, which, by the way, was 8%, 10% finished and wouldn't have finished for another 4 years, zero effect. Plus, it doesn't stop the actual stuff from getting to market. It's just a delivery system. It's not the goddamn pumps.
But that's very expensive. So what do? What do you have or who do you have that can come in and fix this arbitrage?
Well, one of the things you can do is demand destruction. You can move your, say, consumer cars completely away from oil.
This difference, there's nobody large enough, most hypothesize, except for China.
Venezuela, again, Anwar supposedly has a lot, but we don't need it. There's plenty in the United States. There's 9,000 fucking permits that haven't been even been drilled yet in the United States.
So what does China do? They can go in and buy Russian oil cheap. They could sell Russian oil expensive. And now
Yes, we've created a profit. The Communist Party of China is going to engage in war profiteering in resale of Russian oil. You know, it's the same plan they had with, it's what India did with Australian coal in China. Remember when China had its moratorium on Australian coal because, ooh, Australia. And so Indian companies were buying it. So China was buying it from India. Yeah, it's a great system. And it's definitely easier and better. And, they'll just get used to it, you know.
create a completely different monetary basis. No longer is it gold. No longer is it oil. It's commodity.
Oh, oil is a commodity. But I get what you're saying. Avocados, blueberries, cobalt.
So we shift into a completely different monetary system based on commodities.
And then everybody has to behave because nobody gives a fuck what's under your ground. It's only what you can grow or invent. What a crazy notion.
Which the U.S. no longer has.
I'm sorry, what? We don't have commodities? You're kidding, right? Why the fuck do you think China imports most of their food? A bunch of it comes from us.
Voice. It can offer commodities, but it no longer controls the narrative.
Oh, that's what it is. We've lost the narrative. And that's why we need Glenn Beck's book, The Great Reset. And
that changes an entire monetary system whereby the dollar now either becomes incredibly worthless or the dollar could become weaponized, where the dollar becomes useful to the U.S. amongst its friends.
Yeah, one or the other. It either becomes completely useless or a nuclear bomb. There is no middle ground, Glenn. And this is all because we made the horrifying mistake of sanctioning Russian oil and gas and vodka and caviar and diamonds and oligarchs' yachts and stuff. I mean, why can't we look, for the stability of the oil markets, why can't we just let the Ukrainians die? Why can't we? I mean, is it too big a price to pay, Glenn?
So those that we exchange dollars with, that becomes a dollar-based economy. Those that China exchanges with, that becomes a commodities-based economy. You end up with two completely different monetary systems.
We already have one. It's drugs, human trafficking, all that shit. That's what Bitcoin grew on. That has always existed. And you know what? A lot of that shit is traded in not American dollars, but counterfeit American dollars. Russia, Iran, and Venezuela produce most of the counterfeit money in the world. The counterfeit, not just American dollars, but that's the primary one they work on. So all of the devaluation that happens to our economy happens because of Russia, Iran, and Venezuela's impact in it. Now, there's a lot of organizations within China, the Triad and others, that do this kind of stuff too, but it's not coordinated with the government the way it is with these other three countries. And they use those dollars for the underground economy that we're talking about. They still use US dollars. They're just fake. And the existence of those lowers the value of the US dollar. If they remove themselves and operate completely on some sort of, subterranean view, but they can't use US dollars to do it, it removes all of those fake dollars from the system and buoys the value of the American dollar because it's not flooded. Good Lord.
And a world disrupted without...
Professor Wolf, Karen, is a moron and a liar. Richard Wolff, I assume that's who you're talking about. Richard Wolff is an idiot. He talks out of his ass.
Any continuity that was established in Bretton Woods 1.
Okay,
That makes
so,
sense?
so yes, it does so far.
So, okay, you've confused Glenn, and he needs to start over again because there is no way he's going to be able to get to pushing his book, The Great Reset, if you keep talking, David.
I'm going to take a quick 1 minute break, let you catch your breath, and then
Let you catch your breath. And I've got a brain cramp right now, Dave. And so if you could hold on a second, I'm going to take a big pull off this Sonic root beer that's calling my name. Chuck a couple of French fries in my face because the end's coming. Who needs a diet? And we'll be back.
I want to understand yesterday, technically, Russia went into default because they had to pay for their bonds in dollars, but
Right.
couldn't change their rubles into dollars. And I don't understand exactly.
Oh, no. No, Glenn. It's not that they couldn't. Oh, no. It's that the ruble is worthless. Yeah, how many rubles you would need to convert into dollars is effectively the problem, not the conversion itself.
How this works, but I do know after a 30-day waiting period, what this has made the rest of the world say is, wait, I can't trust the central banks, the Western banks, because...
Yeah, how am I supposed to invade a country and strafe bomb it if these assholes are going to climb? How am I supposed to erase an entire religious and ethnic group from my country if I have to acquiesce? I mean, who am...
Because if I have the money, but they won't let me pay for it.
Yeah, they won't let me pay for it because I'm in the middle. Look, you don't understand. I'm in the bank, and yes, I'm currently robbing it, and I've just blown the manager's head all over his desk, and I'm my buddy over there who's new to the gang, and he's a little edgy. His name's Wayne something or other. He's trying to pick someone to sexually assault before we leave the bank. But I would like to make a deposit since I'm here. If that's possible, can I just take the money we're stealing out of the thing, out of the vault, having only murdered 3 or 4 people? Can I just put that right into my account and then just withdraw it at another branch? Because I mean, there's cops outside, and we're gonna have to shoot our way out. And carrying a big duffel bag full of money, especially if you could possibly put. I mean, here's the thing, man. You can't put a die pack in an ATM. So I'm just saying, do you mind?
Then my gold and everything my money is not safe outside of my own country.
Well, no, it's completely safe as long as you don't send armored columns of tanks into other countries for the fuck of it.
Can't just do that.
I can't just do what I want to do. I can't send in Chechen murderers just to wipe people out. I can't send in hit squads. And are you telling me that violates the terms of service of this bank?
That's my understanding of it, but I don't think I have it right. And
that's evergreen. That's what that is.
I'll ask you to explain it here in just a second. All right. So David Buckner is with us. David, did that question even make sense? That I just...
I don't know what the question is, if he said it during the break or something, or what he was lurching towards in the last bit. Did you? Congratulations, Jimmy Dore. We found someone just as fucking dumb as you.
Asked you?
Yeah.
At least he knows better than to try and mispronounce Chinese currency names.
In fact, Glenn, as you stated the question about trust, right? And the idea that people can't rely upon, or even countries can't rely upon or trust the system.
Yes, you can. But part of that trust is based on, hey, I won't send armored columns of tanks and troops into a neighboring country and claim it as my own. If you want to play in our sandbox, you can't take a dump. It's a sandbox, not a cat box. What the fuck is the matter with you? You're not even a cat.
System to pay. You're spot on. Think about it
No, he's not.
this way. You have central banks that have always relied upon the fact, whether it was the gold or petrol in Bretton II,
Here's the thing. I don't get why the breaking of the trust in this system isn't Russia's fault. Does anybody have they offered any of this bullshit as reasoning that the trust that was broken in the international monetary system that somehow breaks it down is the West responding to Russia's attack on Ukraine, as if this was just a hostile takeover of a company? You know, they just bought a company and some of the people had to be fired. Like, they're treating the attack on Ukraine, or even in the case of China, the Uyghur Muslims, as like employees that were pink slipped, not wiped the fuck off the face of the earth, and are currently happening. While Glenn's sucking on his Sonic, people are hiding in basements in buildings that are collapsing on top of them. And this asshole's like, I don't know, this is a violation of trust by, the U.S. government. I mean, how are you going to trust them again? Why? How can you drone strike or pelt with rockets, residential blocks, and then somehow there's some sort of, what, you tell me I can't use my debit card anymore? What is that?
relied upon the fact that they could liquidate. They could liquidate and pay their bills. We just froze when we talk about that, the sanctions that have been imposed. We've frozen the reserves, and Russian reserves, now frozen, are effectively creating, as you noted, the inability for Russia to pay its bills. There's your
Okay, all right. This might be the most amazing part of this whole thing, because what Glenn and his guest are suggesting is that money and the exchange of money is the central, most important aspect of international relations. And it supersedes and is on all levels more important than the lives of the citizenry, no matter what the government chooses to do to those people. Now, I mean, it's fun to put the little thought bubble of what this asshole has been saying about Canadian truckers and tyranny and Justin Trudeau, package that together with the bullshit that he's allowing to fuzzy pumper barbershop out of the front of his goddamn face. But this is the argument. It doesn't matter how many people Russia kills. It's the stability of the monetary system, even when you know you're dealing with the mob. Because that's what this is. How is New York as a business going to function if you take the mob out? If the mob leaves Vegas, how is it ever going to thrive? And isn't the thriving of Vegas more important than, the occasional person that gets hit with a fucking shovel and buried in the desert? What's a couple of snuffed hookers here and there? That's the argument. That's these two men, and arguably Stu, while he's on his fucking phone over here, are making the case that it does not matter what Russia does to human beings. What's important is that they're allowed to operate freely in the monetary system no matter what the fuck they do. The horrifying immorality of this, not amorality, not the just it's a business, so I don't care. The immorality, the hideous disregard for human life that is on display here is the kind of stuff they accuse people of my ilk of doing all the time, right? I'm supposed to be the person taking God out of the classroom and, driving us away from our Judeo-Christian values, right? That's supposedly what my side is doing. And yet this motherfucker is saying, well, I mean, you can, look, I realize they're killing all these people and they're planning on killing even more. They're even going to start a purge in their own fucking country. Putin announced that they're going to start purging the disloyal in Russia. There's a huge, like, flights leaving Russia just fucking went bzzz, like private jets. Everybody was trying to get the fuck out. It was like, I've seen an exodus like that since Afghanistan of private citizens. Like, the brain drain that's happening in Russia is enormous right now because these people, and if you're not on the side of the war and you can get a job anywhere else in the world, you're getting the fuck out right now because he's going to kill you. But to Glenn and David Buckner, that doesn't matter. What matters is that there's a lot of money and resources in Russia, and they should be able to dictate part of the market by their existence in it, no matter how evil they become. It doesn't matter. This is like off the charts. This is some 1939 shit.
Default. That was the question of default. Well, now if you're saying, but hold on, if central banks and the reserves can be frozen by...
They're not. Central banks and the reserves are not frozen. Criminal funds on a grand scale can be frozen. Russia's fucking economy is smaller than California's. Europe and the United States and the northern countries and a lot of the developing world that we're involved in will be fine without, even if Russia ceased to exist as an economic force tomorrow, you're talking about $1.5 trillion out of the system. The 2008 crash wiped out $20 trillion worth of worth. 12 Russias vanished. Who gives a fuck? There's not enough resources and worth in Russia. There's not enough output. There are not enough rides to the fucking space station that can come out of Russia to justify this level of killing.
And I can't pay my bills because I can't read.
You can pay your bills, dum-dum. You don't live in Russia unless this is the gripe. Unless these what's really we're finding out is both of these dickheads have, I suppose, have investments in Russia or money hidden there.
Source that. Now I don't even know if my resources could be frozen. So all of a sudden,
yeah, they can. Tell you what, David, if you weld a bunch of metal to the side of your truck, turn it into a tank, and drive it into your neighbor's house, opening fire on them because it was always your property to begin with, not only will you be frozen, but all of your assets will be frozen as well. You will be fined and your livelihood will end because you will go to jail, and all the money that was in circulation will be frozen or passed off to someone else. And oh, by the way, if they can freeze these assets, and these assets just cease to exist in the system, what? Oh no. Meanwhile, what were these assholes saying 2 days ago? We're printing all this money. There's too much money in circulation. That's what's causing inflation. Do you realize that literally if we eliminated all Russian exchange in euro dollars and in American dollars, that inflation in Europe and the United States would go down? Not a measurable amount because it's not that huge, but it actually would. Just money not in circulation. These assholes are saying there's too much money in circulation, and now they're complaining. Good Lord.
you created a sense that individual countries might be concerned that they can't trust the reserve system to.
They can. You can trust the reserve system if we can trust you not to invade a sovereign country and try to take it over.
Allow them to have access.
Okay, wait a minute. Wait. So when we put sanctions
Oh my God, Glenn's going to try and figure something out now. Here it comes.
on the money from Iran, that was just held in banks and not a central bank. Is that the difference?
Yeah, that's the difference. Not a central bank. David, explain to him what a central bank is. And then tell him that central banks print money and then go, well, they don't actually print money. They loan money into existence. And when they technically loan that money into existence, the U.S. makes money on the interest on those, whether it's loaned out to Americans or to others. So, for example, the Fed made money on the 2008 crash, and therefore the taxpayer in America made money. Some of the social programs that we all take for granted and want to pay for were paid for in part by money earned on the loans given out to post 2008.
Correct, and they were and those reserves were frozen. Each of these are held in individual banks, or to your point on central banks, it could be in central banks if indeed the country has a centralized bank like China. Okay.
Yeah, we're not freezing Chinese banks that are operating in yuan. What the fuck is that even?
So the where they are or where they're frozen is a matter of whether the sanctions can touch them.
Look. If the United States or Europe or Israel or somebody just got a wild hair up their ass tomorrow and told everyone in the Cayman Islands to fuck off because you're getting nuked tomorrow, or Cyprus, where the Bank of Cyprus is, we're going to hit that and the Caymans, and all the records of all the transactions and all the Cayman Islands banks would be obliterated and vanish like somebody losing their Bitcoin wallet. There would be an enormous shock to the system and the economy. And it would recover almost immediately because people with resources who don't hide their shit in the Cayman Islands would move in and go, those of us that have been operating above board who haven't been able to buy property or do stuff because these fucking crooks have rolled in and purchased LA real estate and New York real estate and commodities and stocks based on bullshit money they created out of nowhere and created a value for and then undercut and then they raise it when they want to buy something and then they lower it when they want to sell it so that they can artificially manipulate the market. Once those people are out of the system, once Putin and his buddies are out of the system, the money that they have someplace, if you freeze it and incinerate it, it helps the dollar.
We've been able to, with the sanctions that have been imposed broadly, not just by the U.S., but other countries, we've been able to
Yes, not just by the United States, but by other countries, because it's a trust system and everyone is engaged in it. This is really getting aggravating.
To freeze the reserves wherever they are by Russian reserves. So now Russia says, hold on, I don't have the money. I can't.
Right. So let's see. I could have the money if I just stopped murdering people. Sophie's choice.
Get access to my reserves. What do I do? And here's where it becomes a domino. Other countries look at that and say, I wonder if my reserves could be next. There's your try.
If you murder people on the scale that Vladimir Putin is, the answer is yes. That's why it's a trust system. That's why it has more value than a gold system. Where in the future is, shit, I have a bunch of gold here. I wonder if they're going to come for my gold next. Since everyone's economy is based on gold, they might roll in here and blow me to fucking smithereens and take my gold. That was always the problem. Holy shit. This is exactly the problem with the gold standard in the first fucking place.
Question. And then secondly, they start to say, okay, if Russia is not going to pay me, are they going to default because they can't get access to their reserves? That's a trust question. And
yes, that's what you get for doing business with murderers. Everybody's got to take it on the chin when that comes.
Number three.
Here's how they can make money. I have a good idea. They can stop fucking killing people and get the fuck out of Ukraine. These are not permanent changes. This isn't even occurring to them. This isn't even. Do you recognize? Oh, the sound went. Oh, it cut off again. This motherfucker. Hold on. Let me back up.
And then number three, the question might be, okay, if these things are frozen, how does Russia make money? Well, if they can somehow exchange with China and China takes their commodities, but how is China going to get liquid? How are they going to be able to liquidate enough where they could get liquidity to pay for it? They sell.
Hey, we got 666 people in the chat. That's awesome. It's a good time to give a $6.66 super chat so you can help us buy 666 Fifth Avenue. I know what you're thinking, Hal. There's no way you could possibly afford 666 Fifth Avenue. Well, neither could Jared Kushner, and it didn't stop him. So help us out. Give a thumbs up. Support the show. Bits, stars, anything helps. Also, the point I was making before the audio dropped out based on this idea is that at no point are they considering the idea, at no point in this negotiation are they suggesting that one of the options open to Russia is to stop the invasion of Ukraine. Why is that not part of it? Why the fuck? Thanks, Mark. Upgrade my audio. I'm trying. I don't know what that's about because it sounds fine to me. It's going out weird. I don't know if do I need to update this sucker? What's happening? Hold on, let me see am I doing, no, I'm 58%, so I'm not even using up my, hold on. I'm at 82% of my, let's see. Usually it makes me automatically upgrade or update the software when I'm doing it. Ugh. Excellent. I'm glad, Kelly. I wonder if it's a restream to Twitch thing. Oh, the new Studio Macs look lovely. Film 73. Don't get me started. But the Mac Pro is supposedly coming out. So, I don't know why. I still don't know why they are not presenting. Russia could solve this by just getting the fuck out.
U.S. treasuries. China's holding $1 trillion in U.S. treasuries. Now, tell me, Glenn, you and I both know when you dump something on the market, the price goes down.
Correct.
So,
Correct. I understand you've had a sex change. Correct.
if U.S.
It's from The Golden Child. If you've never watched it, you should.
starts to
And yes, my alarm when I wake up is Best Man in the World, the song from the soundtrack. Deal with it.
see that China is dumping treasuries, Russia's got U.S. treasuries. They dump U.S. treasuries.
Other people will buy them because they're stable and worthwhile. Who gives a fuck? Do you know how much money there is in the goddamn world? Do you know how little? The U.S. economy is $26 trillion a year. Goldman Sachs has $5 trillion worth of monetary exchange that goes through their system, just them, every 2 days. Who gives a fuck? If China owns $1 trillion in U.S. securities, or Russia owns $1 trillion, which they don't, in U.S. securities, if they sell them, other people will buy them because there's a limited number of them. God damn.
All of a sudden, our treasuries start
I said, I want the knife. All right.
tank.
That's just for the people in the chat who remember Golden Child.
And what happens? We start to see hyperinflation.
No, we don't. They, in some cases, they sell the treasuries. The price goes down, and the Fed just eliminates them. They just erase them from the books.
So the domino here is not only that trust piece that you identified of a reserve, trust of being able to get money from Russia, but even if we could get money, the method they may use to get that money to pay it could be damaging largely to certain countries when they start to dump the treasuries. And that becomes the problem, kind of the ripple effect. The stone drops, and then you see the ripple in the water.
This, by the way, that's just fucking gibberish.
So, David, I
I mean, it's management speak. This is the kind of shit you hear at a boardroom, and everybody goes, "Yeah, that's right, Sam. I know. Dave's got a point. We gotta, 20% is what we gotta look for. But if you're not gonna see that, you're gonna see a blowback. I've seen blowback in all these areas. We've got a ripple in the pond. You throw that stone in the pond, you're gonna see a ripple effect. It's just how it works. I know, Sam. Hey, you don't have to tell me. Business is business. And how could it be? You and I should get along so awfully. Jesus Christ, this is stupid.
tell you how many people I talk to, and I'll talk to them about what the Treasury's own white papers and the Fed's own white papers, the Hamilton Project up in Boston, what they are talking about with a digital currency, which would replace the current currency and be a reset for us.
And here we go. We're 13 minutes, 20 seconds into a 16-minute video, and finally we're getting the book pitch. Alex Jones was what, 2 minutes into the last video we did with him, where he was pitching his fucking prepper food? Russell sells his gigs right out of the gate.
Or I talk about, hyperinflation, and people just say it can't happen here. It just won't happen. It won't happen. But nobody has that control. The politicians or whoever won't let that happen. I'm like, wait, but that's what they're telling us.
No, it isn't. I don't even, by the way, who's they? The Hamilton Project? The people who, all right.
They are going to do.
That's what they're telling us they're going to do. Yes, the World Economic Forum is going to create massive inflation on purpose so as to crater the U.S. economy so they can do a giant reset. That's what he's saying. Which they're not. Fucking hell.
What we're betting on, Glenn, we're betting on the fact that we're the largest consumer in the world, so everybody needs us.
And they do. There you go. This is from 2014. Unlike Jimmy Dore, I'm going to show you that this is not new information. This has been around for a while. No thanks. Demographics is destiny, says this article from The Insider. Epic demographic chart shows what's happening to the populations of US, China, and Japan. And others, by the way. Here they are. So, U.S. population pyramid evolution. Boing, here we go. So this is Japan's population evolution. This is starting in 1990, 2014. It's very small on my screen, so let me blow this up. 2025, 2050. Okay, so this is what it looks like. This is Japan, right here on the top. This is Japan in 1990. Pretty sound. I mean, it's starting to taper, but you got enough people, old people. This is the side over here is the age of the population. So here's the tiny needle of people in their hundreds and 80s. And then all the way down to the most people they have are in their 40s over here, right? And then the second group is 15 to 19 years old. Then 2014 comes around. See these little notches in Japan? They've moved up to here, right? See that? That's this group. These two boobs right here are these two boobs right here, okay? They moved up. And this is what they've turned into. This is fewer women and fewer men. Now, there's a bubble of men over here. You're going to get that in Asian societies because they're going to sexually select births in some cases. Japan less than China, but there you go. Here's 2025. This is their number right here. Look, this is the aging population. Look at the number of people in their 80s and 90s that are going to survive. Same thing over here in 2050. Look at the number of people in their hundreds that are old enough, to be, getting Social Security or whatever their version of that is, and still be alive versus 1990. Look at that. But look at the young people. Look at the volume of young people supporting this ice cream cone of human beings. Same thing over here. Here's China, 1990. Death rate right about here. Then this ruffle right here becomes this. Then it becomes this. Then it becomes this. Look at this taper right here. The population of China is going to be cut in half by 2050. Some say 2035. And this is old data. This is before they came out and said, actually, we lied. China overcounted their number of 18 to 35-year-olds by about 130 million. All the people who get married and have babies, there's 135 million fewer of those people in China than they were telling everybody. Here's the United States. Look at this. 1990. Here comes the baby boomers rising up, following through this. Look at this shit. 2014. Look at this. Look at 2025. Look at 2050. Look at the volume of human beings here and all age groups. There's a dip where this is Gen X here, but millennials are a giant group. These are, you know who these people are? These are the people. Look at this. Hold on. I got to move out of the way. I got to scroll this up. Hold on. Beg your pardon. Got to shrink this down so you guys can see it. Shit. Why is that? Okay. Here's what I got to do. I got to take this picture and I got to take it off. And then I got to take this picture and I got to move this guy and images. Where's that? Okay. And we open this up and then I can move it around a little bit. Here we go. Sorry. Let me move this over here. There you go. Let me shrink this down a little bit so you can see it a little better. There you go. Here's this China. This is the Chinese population, age-wise. These are, the top is old people, middle is, middle age, bottom is babies and young people. Gotcha? So the bottom is literally 0 to 4. That's this age range right here. Look at their population. Look at Japan's population. By the way, this is true of a shit ton of countries. This is true of Canada. This is true of a lot of other countries. It's not true of Mexico, interestingly enough. But it is true of like most South American countries and the like. Look at the United States in 2050. Look at the population projection. Here we were in 1990. Here's everybody. Look, we didn't look that dissimilar from these guys. Look at 1990. There's all three of us. There's top one's Japan, middle one's China, bottom one is the US. Population-wise, not all that different. By the time we got around to 2014, China and Japan were staggering. We are filling out. We have, population in the United States is not a problem. We are that consumer base. If you want to sell something in the world, the Americans are going to be the main buyers for the next 40 fucking years. And the Japanese could recover because they're small, and so you can kind of turn it around over time. But a country as large as China, you cannot jerk the wheel on a cruise ship and make it turn on a dime. It does not happen. That's his sort of flippant. They think we're going to be this consumer society. We fucking are. We're it. Russia's looks like this too. And again, this is shit from 2014 when these jackasses were telling we were believing the population figures from China, which we now know were largely inflated to make it look better for them. And this isn't even including COVID, because look, there's no way China, if their population is anywhere close to the number that they're saying, lost less than 17 million people to COVID. No country with 1.4 billion people does zero tolerance about a disease if it's only killed 4,000 people. What are you talking about? Who does that? How can I find anything online? I wonder if he ever loses his keys. My keys have one of those Apple Pod, the chips on them, so it has a locator. But I also hang them up when I get in the house, so I know what I'm doing. All right. Anyways, these dickheads. This whole story about they think because we're going to be consumers that they'll be able to blah blah blah. That's exactly what's going on. Jesus.
I think that's a risky bet, but we are, okay?
I think that's a risky bet, but we are.
We don't pay our bills fully. I mean, we pay.
Nobody does. No, hey, you guys know anybody that pays off their house every year and gets a new house in general? Anybody? In kitchen table economics? Anybody that settles their entire bills when they sit around the kitchen table? And if the government only ran its situation like a family does, we would have almost exactly the same kind, just on a scale that we have in the federal government. Some things we would prorate over time, like a mortgage. Other things we would invest more in because of what it gets back. If our house got robbed or we were afraid we were in danger, we'd buy a gun or a dog or a security system. And if the security system failed to protect us one particular time, we'd upgrade it, even if it cost us more money, and the subscription service and all that kind of stuff. There's defense spending. If the structure of our infrastructure in general, if we were worried about the quality of that, there were holes in the roof and we didn't have the money, we would take out equity on the house to pay for that, because if we don't patch it, all the worth of the house goes away. But
then we run our debt, and then we raise our debt ceiling. So that's number one.
We raise our debt ceiling because we're taking in more money. You raise your debt ceiling. You probably have a bigger mortgage on a bigger house if you doubled your salary in a year, over 10 years. Let's say you were making, $250,000 a year. Great. In the year 2000. In the year 2010, you're making $500,000 a year. And the house you bought in 2000 costs $250,000. You make that every year, but you got a mortgage, a 30-year mortgage, or in the case of the government, a 10-year mortgage. But let's say 15. So you got a 15-year mortgage on a $250,000 house in 2000 when you're making $250,000 a year. And in 2010, you're making $500,000 a year. And the house you're in needs some upgrades for security, for safety. You've got nicer things, so you need a better security system. You got to have a stronger roof. You also want to make not just aesthetic changes. You want to switch. You want a solar system and a battery backup. You want a charging system in your house and those kind of things. So you go shopping for a house and you shop for a $500,000 house. You've raised the debt ceiling for yourself on your home 100%. Would anybody go, oh shit, man, you only make $500,000 a year. You're going to buy a $500,000 house? Mm-hmm. And that's just with a $500,000. If you make $500,000 a year, do you think most people making $500,000 a year own a $500,000 house? Seriously. Good Lord.
Two, we're betting on the fact that the dollar still has significant value because
it does.
So many countries are holding it. And we think, well, you're holding our dollar if you devalue
It's not holding it. It's trading in it because they trust it.
it, you guys are going to hurt yourselves. That's a risky bet. They could go into they could either go commodity-based or somebody could really.
Yeah, how do you get out of commodities once you're in commodities? Do those commodities, do they have a stable worth? What are you going to do? Have a warehouse full of fucking corn for how long? Coffee frozen concentrated orange juice.
Get aggressive here and play cryptocurrency game and move completely out of the dollar. Right?
Yeah, crypto. Go that route. Because that's, and again, anybody who's like, you got to be in gold because gold has real money, who then goes to cryptocurrency, which is fucking fart air and can be hacked out of existence. You can't hack gold out of existence. Alchemy has yet to turn lead into gold or gold into lead.
And then the third part is we're betting on the fact that we're strong. We're the global police officers. Well, we've had a couple of events this year that...
No, we're not. Global police officer is, and by the way, if we don't protect your system, you have to, and that's a lot of your money.
Haven't manifest.
By the way, you're watching HAL SPARKS Mega Worldwide. Infotainmentwars.com. Like and subscribe. Give a thumbs up today. Help support the show. All that kind of stuff. So I set a timer. I did the timer again. So there you go. I did a little timer on my Elgato Stream Deck so that I know it lets me know when I should remind you guys again to like and subscribe. I'm so professional these days.
Our ability to really rise up and be trusted in that area to where we're not being seen as that strength that they can.
The fuck we aren't. Where do you think the javelins came from? And if you want a no-fly zone, you got to join NATO early. You can't dick around for decades. You got to actually do it. You can't go, I need NATO now. It's like, it can't be like phoning in and calling, ordering AAA while you have a flat. I'm going to sign up for AAA and then cancel it 2 days later. You got a 10-day introductory period. Well, you can't call in anything in the 10 days because you're just cheating the system. I get AAA, and they told me, and then I canceled it 30 days later.
So those have been the three things that we're kind of going to the market with some swagger, saying, you know what? You can't afford to allow us to have hyperinflation. You're not going to dump the dollar. You're not going to dump treasuries. In reality...
Yeah, P.S., what kind of vacuum does he believe these other economies exist in, where they're not having inflation too? Yeah, that's the other part of this whole conversation, beyond the fact that they're like, Russia has no part in just fucking off from Ukraine. There's no discussion about the economic factors in other countries, the pressure on the euro, supply shock, all the other aspects of current inflation that are not monetary at all.
You're starting to see many of them kind of on the sidelines doing it without us paying a lot of attention to
Correct.
it in a way. Could it be immediate? I don't think it's going to be immediate because they're holding too many of our dollars. But over time, you're going to start seeing them divest themselves, just like Russia and China are doing.
Yes, just like Russia and China are doing. That's what they're doing. They're divesting from the dollar. They're not invading sovereign countries and committing genocide on people living in their own countries. No. They're divesting from the trust system.
Treasuries to liquidate and get out of dollars.
So
now, when they do that, we're only betting on, hey, we're
Sonic the hedge fund. Quit it.
consumers. You need us. And at that point, I'm not sure we've got a leg to stand on that is as firm as we think we have.
how much time do I have, sir? I have 1 minute. There's a...
Yeah, it's not going to be enough, Glenn. You don't understand what the fuck you're talking about. And he's talking circles. He's talking in circles and saying shit that has zero meaning. And also, you're both engaged in the most immoral discussion about the lack of value of human life that I've ever seen on broadcast television, if that's indeed what this is.
So many questions I have. I saw something
Yes, well, he can't answer them, so just go to break.
frightening
Shouldn't you be selling gold?
yesterday, and perhaps I don't understand it.
You don't. I guarantee it. I don't even know what you're going to bring up, but I think everybody in my chat room at this point knows that this guy is talking out of his ass, and you think it's an inhaler.
But they're saying if Russia defaults, there won't be enough liquidity to cover the CDOs. And that's what caused all the problem in 2008, right?
It's This is analogous, Glenn. It's analogous, but it is a much larger institutional piece of which I'm not sure China and others would want to see Russia default. Seeing so many.
Oh God! Again, Glenn, let me put this in terms that maybe you and some of these other dickheads can understand. Russia is currently defaulting on the value of human life. Russia has missed a payment on not bombing maternity hospitals. Russia's currency has lost value against the corpses that are just being covered in a light and shallow graves in Mariupol. You fucking dick. Russia is defaulting on the moral scale. Why the fuck again, and this is a constant refrain from Glenn Beck and others like this, that it's my side of the aisle that believes in moral ambiguity, this incredible gray area around morals, that we don't believe in the depth of Judeo-Christian values, or even fucking hell, that we're not pro-life. This is effectively, and we have just watched, the least pro-life discussion I have ever seen. And this is two guys they might as well be in a cigar shop, in a back room, sitting in a leather chair, drinking a scotch, talking about exactly how much is a kidney worth. I mean, cash on the barrelhead. It's gross. And I mean, beyond just the fucking hypocrisy of it. First of all, it's ignorant bullshit. Like, just on a material level. Like, they don't even know what the fuck they're talking about in terms of the topic itself. Even the dude had to walk back. They think we're these big consumers, and we are. But I don't know how long that'll last. It'll last for at least 30 fucking years, dum-dum. Because it ain't lasting anywhere else. Jesus Christ. I'm flabbergasted. I'm completely amazed that they managed to get through 16 minutes of that shit without ever suggesting that one of the economic turns that could be taken is Russia getting the fuck out of Ukraine. And that the trust in the system is based on the behavior of the nation states, not just where they park their fucking cash. This is gross. Yeah, it's a tithe of 10 bodies, right? Man. And again, this is an argument that Russell Brand has been making. This is an argument that Jimmy Dore just made. And none of them are taking into account that Russia could just fuck off. It's the quickest out in all of this. Vladimir Putin could literally go, this was a mistake, everybody out, you can have Donbass and Crimea back, this was terrible, I was completely in the wrong, too many innocent people are dying, I can't deal with it anymore, I'm stepping down, somebody else has to take over, Russia's too valuable a country for an asshole like me to run it. Like, that never occurred to them as a possibility. Why would it? Holy hell. By the way, don't forget to like and subscribe. I'm like, when I get a clip like that and I have to go through the whole goddamn thing, like, some of these are infuriating. And I think you guys will remember, I posted it a while back. I have a picture of me with Glenn Beck at Politicon years ago, 2015, some shit like that, the one and only time I was invited. And that was before I even did this show, so God knows what'll happen now. But I have a picture with Glenn And I was joking at the table. I was talking to like Robert Davi, who's a big Trumper, and I was making people laugh, as I do. And I managed to make everyone laugh backstage except Anna Kasparian, who was so angry that I was supporting Hillary that I was just too much of a neocon monster to laugh at my jokes. And I have a picture with Glenn. And I'm smiling in the picture because I was like, this fucking guy. But Glenn went like this because he literally did not know whether he can afford to later be seen smiling in a picture with someone he doesn't know. No matter how that person was with them on an interpersonal level. Because if somebody went, here's a picture of you smiling with Al Sparks, clearly, he went, so he could just hide the fact that he was laughing at my jokes 2 seconds ago. It's a fraud. And not only is he a fraud, but the immorality in this particular take is next level. I mean, fuck pro-life. I mean, at this point, come on. The irony is that they might as well be talking about the cost of adrenochrome and selling baby parts. Human F being, it was, I showed the picture last summer, I think. I'll show it again sometime. I don't have it here on this system. Yeah, but I was there in 2015. But I don't want to hear anything about fucking pro-life from this dickhead or any of his guests ever again. Nonsense. All right, so let's move on, shall we? I got a little energy left in me. Come on. I need to know what's going on in Vladimir Putin's head, and I think you need to know. I mean, sure, I showed earlier in the earlier program today a bit of the clip of him where he was rambling about, we're just liberating Ukraine from Nazis and blah, blah, blah. And then they cut to the band and he vanished. God knows what happened after that. I don't know that he's been seen since, so we'll see, I suppose. Let me know if while the broadcast is happening, let me know on in the chat room if anybody's holding his head on a pike and the state of affairs has changed. Do I have ADD? No, I do not. I have a show and I have to move on. All right. So, you want to know what's going on in Putin's head. I want to know, but who could we turn to that could explain to us in no uncertain terms what psychologically is going on good. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Demes D'Souza giving us, and I quote, the analysis of Putin you haven't heard yet. Now, we've heard all kinds. We've heard he's a crazy motherfucker. We've heard that he's crazy like a fox. We've heard he's crazy like a fox with mad cow. We've heard that he's the new and improved Shitler. And we've heard that he may or may not be in a ditch covered in petrol right now. But we have not heard the true analysis of Putin. I need to hear this. You need to hear this, don't you? How do you say fish delight in Russian? That's the one Russian phrase Trump knows. Let's see. Here we go.
What's going on with Vladimir Putin?
I've been wondering. I mean, this. By the way, this is the single worst Jerry Seinfeld impersonation I have ever seen in my life.
I've tried to analyze the Ukraine conflict in the context of power politics and power.
Great, yeah, do it in terms of power politics, because nobody knows power politics like Debbie D'Souza.
Politics sets.
That's his wife, by the way.
Aside individuals. In fact, it even sets aside ideology. It just looks at the realm of large and small countries. It looks at the realm of realpolitik.
Realpolitik and large and small countries, which, by the way, I know you're thinking, well, large companies are made up of lots of people and small countries are made up of fewer people, and yet those people still have meaning. Fuck off.
And it looks at the
Yeah, that's not what we're talking about here. We're talking about the tides of humanity, which might as well be like astrology. And so here's the mess to read us all our cards.
Focus on national self-interest.
Yes, which has nothing to do with people.
I've also touched upon psychological analyses of Putin, which I find interesting, although I'm also careful. I want to be careful not to sort of take them too far.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I appreciate that you don't ever take things too far, especially when you suggest that the Democratic Party is the party of slavery currently.
There's this idea that you're doing something solely because
You want to, oh, Penny Loco, you want me to do it with that? Let's see. Hold on. I have to. Let's see. How do I do this? Give me 1 second. I can do this. I can do this on the goddamn fly. Okay, so add a scene. Sorry, nope, cancel. I need to control duplicate. Got it. Let's see. Whoops. I'm fixing something just for Benny Loco, so give me 1 second. Done. Excellent. And then oops, there we go. And then in Snap, let's see. I gotta turn this on. Whoops. I blew up something. I'm sorry about that. Give me a second. I'm going to destroy my show if I'm not careful. Yeah? Give me a second. I'll do that. Excellent. Back. Cool. And then close this. Go to here. In Snap Scene. Take this. Let's see. Add a camera. I can do this on the fly. I don't care. It's nighttime. It's the right time. Come on now. Video capture device. There we go. Add source. Then we go to this, add another one that we haven't talked about. And go to Snap. There we go. And we do this. And we take this. And we set the bar. And we hit the here. And then that's good. And then what we do is we take this guy. Give me 1 second. And run it over here, and we stretch it out. I'm just doing something real quick. Hold on. Whoops. Take this guy. Yeah, there we go. And you guys talk amongst yourselves. I'm fixing something real quick. Just stare at Dinesh right now, and try not to think of a catcher's mitt. All right. So this guy. Filters, add there, go in here, add a chroma key, taking this guy out. There we go. Excellent. And then we close that, and we take this guy, and we move him over here, and we stretch it out because it's about the same size. Love it. And then we option take that in like that. And then we get rid of this guy. Remove that because it's okay. And then this guy becomes this guy. And I mean, and I'm able to do this. Hold on for a second. I'm overusing my computer stuff right now. Now, I beg your pardon. I have to take over the show right now because you need somebody in here who on an intellectual level can understand the mess. D'Souza. He's a crazy feller, and I'm one of the few that can get him. You know, I get him. He gets me, I get him.
Because of your childhood trauma, or because you
right.
are, in Putin's case, afraid of rats. I think.
Well, who ain't, man? Seriously. Anybody who has used an outhouse more than 3 times is afraid of rats, especially when your pee smells like Mountain Dew Extreme.
There's a limit to that, the value of that kind of explanation.
Yeah, I mean, it's not helpful. And a lot of people have done that, but this is the analysis we ain't heard of yet.
Now, here's a different analysis. I would call it
All
a
right.
historical analysis. It's coming from Paul Berman, who's one of the more astute students of American foreign policy.
He's an astute student. He's a astute student of studiciousness. That's why he sounds like a smart feller. That's a lot of 50-cent words in a gumball shop that only takes quarters.
You wrote some very interesting things about Islamic radicalism and 9/11.
Right.
And he broke with kind of liberal orthodoxy. He's writing as a liberal, but as a kind of a tough-minded liberal.
Yeah, he's like a liberal that wears a kilt and goes commando. He's like a balls out liberal. He's like a liberal that pees sitting down, but not in the bowl. He sits down and pees that way. He sits on the floor and pees. That's how liberal he is. He's tough.
About radical Islam. Now, here's Paul Berman talking about, and he says, what is the Russian problem? This is an article.
Yeah, what is the Russian problem? Other than 57-year lifespan due to shitty lifestyle, which I can totally relate. I can relate, man. Basically, Russia is one big Appalachia with a space program.
By the way, in the magazine called Foreign Policy, put out by the Brookings Institution, it's called The Intellectual.
Oh, hey, you mean the Brookings Institute? I'm sorry, is the Brookings Institution, is that the insane asylum where they put everybody with the last name Brookings?
Catastrophe of Vladimir Putin. A little bit of a misleading title because we're not actually talking about just Putin himself. We're talking about the position in which the Russian leaders find themselves.
Right. Yes, the Russian leaders. Being that there's only really one and everybody else has to do what he says or he'll fucking put a bag over their head. But it's sort of a group thing.
What Berman says is that the Russians have been
Hey man, thanks for noticing, Mark 5. I've been working out. I've been working on my pector asshole major. What?
a problem for a long time. In fact, going back to the 19th century.
Yeah, hey man, anytime you got a problem right in front of you, you're like, I got a flat tire. How'd you get the flat tire? Well, I ran over a nail. But the important thing you need to know is that rubber was first cultivated for the use of eliminating ejaculation in males in the 3rd century.
What's their problem?
What is their problem? Well, I'll tell you what. You put a Johnny on and you can't patch a tire with a condom because you got to run alongside the car.
Well, they have a great history. They have a great culture and a...
Totally, it's great, man. Yeah, fish eggs, vodka, street fights. You want to see? Hey, can I show you guys my favorite part of Russian culture? Cup, please. Hold on. Let me try. I gotta find this. Look, it's the chat. Hold on. I can find this in here. Give me a second. I gotta shut everything else out because I'm overdoing there's too much. I'm overdoing the computer, man. Just doing my face like this. Hold on. So let me see. It's gonna be on here. Hold on. No, don't allow. Go away. Hold on. Get back here. It's hard, man. I don't type like I used to. Give me a second. So, let me see if I can find this. There we go. Let's see. I gotta find this shit. It's gonna be older stuff. Let me see. Hold on. Let's see. Let's see. This month, this year, duration, live, something like that. Upload, date. There you go. And then I want a crazy fight in Europe. There you go. Russian. Here you go. No, this is even better. Here you go. It's what I like, man. Here you go. Here you go. I'm going to turn the sound down on this because they're going to get in trouble. This is one of my favorite parts of Russian culture. I don't know if you've ever seen this stuff. Russian massive gang brawl into projects. Hey man, this kind of shit happens everywhere I go. There's a bunch of dudes. They're all getting together. They all getting upset. There's another group of dudes. They all in red shirts. They getting together. I mean, when has this not happened in the United States? There's a bunch of dudes over. They ain't got matching shirts, for the record. They're getting all mad and they're yelling and then moving closer and all that kind of stuff. And then they get close and they walk over. And then somebody just says, like, let's go. And they shoot fireworks in and that's it. And then they just beating the living shit out of each other. Throwing bottle rockets and shit into each other. And they just, yep, there they go. That's the whole thing. That's Russian culture right now. I don't know why they couldn't export that. You know what I mean? Sure, they got oil and gas, but they got guff and gumption too, man. They couldn't do that too. I mean, this is what you want, right? I don't know why America. Why doesn't Ukraine want more of this on their streets? I don't get it. You know what I mean? That's why you got somebody tough like Vladimir Putin running that place. That's some of my favorite parts of. There you go. This dude's my favorite right over here. This guy who's running around, he's behind a tree. Like I'm trying to get some of this on film, but I'm not wearing the right shirt. And then this dude comes in and they start. I think somebody got shot and then they just kind of skid at her. Somebody pulled out a scatter gun and they all took the fuck off. And then they ended up chasing some dude in trousers and knocking the shit out of him. So that kind of stuff. I mean, I don't know why we can't put that. You know what I mean? I don't know why we can't put out have that kind of access to that kind of culture.
Literature. And
yes, literature, giant street ass kickings.
they also have
Also literature.
an incredibly vast country, one of the biggest countries in the world.
Yeah, but I mean, it's like 80% permafrost and just shit landscape. Russia's like 80% Siberia. You know those places where they're like, I hope I never end up there. That's 80% of Russia's landmass.
And so one would expect that based upon Russian size and Russian past glory, and
Yes, you can tell he's a man who is peed next to a Russian.
also the sophistication.
Yeah, especially really good at giant street ass whoopings. They really good at chasing down the fuckers that came in there and started the shit. And then, oh look, they're real good at driving a car through a group of people. That's fun. See that guy in the car driving in fucking circles? Watch, he comes back around. And they come through. There he is. He just drove off and fucked off. And this dude is like, did I miss anything? And then he goes and like sucker punches some dude over here. And then look at this guy just staggering away with a Charlie horse. There goes that car coming back around. This dude's like, fuck, man, I'll see you back at the house. Hey, fight number 2 broke out. Main event. We got a hold of the dude. So they got, they're good at that stuff, man. We ain't never going to have big street brawls like that over in America. We need to import some of that shit.
From music.
By the way, I ain't playing the audio on that video anyways. It went out on Dinesh. Hopefully it comes back.
Chess.
Right.
Berman says, you would expect the Russians to have formed a kind of successful government, a stable political system to...
Why? Dude, you would expect people in West Virginia, considering that the original founding fathers spoke like 3 fucking languages, you'd expect that we wouldn't have lead pipes.
Or to go along with. There are other achievements, but they sort of never have. And he goes...
That's weird. Know what I mean? And yet we still let them develop nuclear power and do all that kind of stuff. We didn't We didn't just assassinate everybody who lived there. That's weird. Why wouldn't we do that?
To the 19th century to say that even under the Tsars, Russia had created this kind of medieval aristocracy, this kind of empire, but an empire based upon mass serfdom that was technologically quite backward, even though it was culturally quite advanced.
It's weird. It's almost as if they didn't seem to get their shit together until they joined the international community and became an integral part of the greater world economy. I'm fucking with you. It's all street fighting.
Russian weakness became apparent when Napoleon's forces invaded Russia.
Yeah, I'm glad we're covering stuff that's really relevant to what's going on now, aren't you? When Neapolitan ice cream was introduced to Russia, shit hit the fan. Also followed by vanilla and strawberry.
French army, you may say, bringing the French Revolution.
Yeah, it was the greatest attack of pubic hair in Russian history. Lord Almighty.
Not just the ideas.
And the architecture and the cheese.
Russia.
The chocolate and the smooth. All in one treat. Yes, and I gotta credit them, because the French, if you ain't driven a French lawnmower, you ain't lived, man. I mean, it runs on brie and smells a little funny, but man, it just purrs like a kitten. Like El Gato, you know what I mean?
The Russians began to sort of sulk over this.
Oh, I don't know why the audio keeps going up. Muted Dinesh. See, I don't know why it's muted. It ain't muted. The other audio is muted. What the living shit is going on here? Hold on. Why is this dummy
mowed down the Russians? And suddenly Napoleon's troops were on the outskirts of Moscow. Now,
can you hear him now? Is that, I don't know, yeah, the audio, I think I'm being attacked.
The Russians began to sort of sulk over this, and says Berman, what did the Tsar do?
I don't know, but whatever he did, it was bizarre.
Well, what the Tsar did was he decided, listen, I'm having a hard time trying to beat up on Europe or to establish my superiority over these advanced armies.
Yeah, you might, you know what I mean? Hey, we've all had difficulties like that. You know, I've often had a very difficult time after urinating at a truck stop trying to figure out the sensor that gives me soap and water in the towel. So I just said, fuck it.
Germany and France, or even the force of Great Britain. So I'm going to pick on some smaller countries and kind of whoop them. And sure enough, what
that worked.
Nicholas I does is he invades Poland and then he invades Hungary. And Berman's point is that
and then he invades nap time.
These invasions are kind of demonstrations of Russian power.
Yes, nothing demonstrates power like invading a smaller country. I hope they don't do that anytime in the future. It would be terrible if they continued that behavior and learned nothing from their past mistakes. It's almost as if they are destined to become a pariah.
Reflecting not strength, but a kind of weakness.
Kinda.
Reflecting not genuine pride, but a certain kind of humiliation, a desire to take it out on some.
And yeah, a desire to whip it out, show it to everybody, and just listen to the giggles.
One else. And, says Berman, if that seems like a kind of little tidbit of history.
It is a little tidbit. Titbits is one of my favorite Pornhub search terms. TMI? I think so.
Uprooted from.
Who the fuck says titbits? Tid. It's tid, you dum-dum.
Present, he says.
Yeah, this worked out terribly. Let's try that again. Every time I eat this, I get diarrhea. Hit me again, bartender.
Let's look, for example, in the communist era. You have.
Yeah. I mean, because we're not. All old things are new again. Switch on CC when the audio drops. We can read what you're saying. Oh, I see. Yes, that's a good idea. Look at that. I'm going to turn this on.
Going into the 1950s, Hungary begins to clamor for more independence.
Oh, I hate when Hungary clamors for things. When Hungary gets hangry, you're in big fucking trouble. And to all my Hungarian friends, and I mean strippers, I would like to say Hoj Voj, Bosmag, and Hoj Mint. That's all I got right now.
And what does Khrushchev do?
What does
Soviet
Khrushchev
troops
do?
come blasting into Hungary.
Oh, Khrushchev troops come blasting into Hungary.
The Soviet invasion of Hungary in 1956. And
They play Hungry Hungry Hippos, and they eat Hungry Man breakfasts, and they eat Hungry Jack biscuits. Hungry Jack. You gobble them down, and Brezhnev comes back for Hungry Jack.
And just over a decade later, exactly the same thing in Czechoslovakia.
It's almost like these dumbasses are egomaniacs who never learn. Weird. No wonder Dinesh likes them so much.
This time under Brezhnev, when you have a Czech uprising and the Czechs decide, listen, we're going to go out in the streets. We want more liberty of choosing our own jobs. We want more ability to speak our minds. In come Soviet tanks and crush the aspirations of the Czechs. And so this is
they were like, Czechs, please. Sorry.
Berman's starting point for saying, now look at Putin. Now, admittedly,
all right, now look at Putin. Now, admittedly,
it's a great mistake to see Putin as just another czar, and it's an even
he's far worse because the czars never had nukes. So.
Bigger mistake to see Putin as sort of just another Brezhnev or just another Stalin.
Yeah, he ain't got the mustache or the eyebrows for either of those allegories. You know what I mean? You got to have some major face bushes for that situation. That dude, I bet we could solve most of these problems if we got Putin a nice toupee.
It's actually not. Putin is an old KGB guy, but he never, he's...
Don't say old. He gets very upset about that because he thinks his pecker don't work. Woo, woo, woo.
Seems to be one who has broken with kind of strict communist ideology. He never...
Yeah, apparently he doesn't like strict communist ideology. He likes a little bit of submission with his dominion, if you know what I'm saying. Whoosh.
Appeals to it. In fact, he appeals to the opposite. The only thing that he takes from the communist era is this, is a kind of anti-fascist posture. Now, I've talked before about how communism and fascism are actually ideological cousins, but ideologies that are...
Yeah, I've said before that they're basically the same thing. But in this particular case, because I'm coming to the defense of Vladimir Putin and I'm trying to excuse his actions, I'm going to say they different. Because who gives a shit? You know what I mean? You don't think shit I said yesterday has any meaning today, do you? Just get in the van. Sniff this rag. You know what I'm saying?
Cousins of all...
Look, some hitchhikers make it, other ones don't. Some people get dropped off at the store, other ones get a face full of dirt. It works. It's just a system, okay? Okay?
And fought bitterly. Think, for example, about the Shia and the Sunni. They're very close in ideology. They've fought bitterly over the centuries.
They do fart bitterly. I've heard that. Y'all know that, right? That they, the Sunni and the Shia.
About the Shia and the Sunni. They're very close in ideology. They've fought bitterly over the centuries.
They did. They definitely fart bitterly over the centuries. I've heard that.
And so,
you know, I mean, many of us have fart bitterly.
Sunni, they're very close in ideology. They've fought bitterly over the centuries.
Yeah, they totally did.
And so, nevertheless, in World War II, the Soviets developed this kind of anti-Nazi, anti-fascist rhetoric, and Putin has definitely absorbed that. But, says Paul Berman, Putin...
I'm sorry. Keep talking. I'm really concentrating. I am.
In pretty much the same position after the collapse of the Soviet...
Yes, he's pretty much in the same position. Because, I mean, you find what works for you and you stay with it.
Empire, Russia becomes basically a big Canada. Yeah, Canada.
Yeah, that's what happened in 91. Russia became a big Canada. Like, I mean, their curling team, especially their women's curling team, they're the buffest motherfuckers you've ever seen.
Nuclear weapons, but it's kind of
Yeah, they're like Canada without curling, but with nukes.
this sort of society that's ignored, that's not given its pride of place in the kind of pantheon of nations. And
Yeah, they're like the school shooter version of Canada.
so Putin goes, let me pick on some little country that's right in my backyard, and
Yeah, you got to forget, he's got to say A at the end of everything. I'm just saying, it works better that way.
kind of punch him in the face, and this will give me the kind of respect that I deserve on the world stage.
Yes, it seems to be a logic that appeals to the Demes right now.
So this is an attempt, as I say, to understand Putin, not in terms of his individual psychology, but
No.
the psychology of the leader of a humiliated nation that has not found its place in the world or in the sun, and is trying to take by force the respect that is being denied to it on the basis of its own achievements.
I understand. Wait a minute. You gonna just promise that and then fuck off? What happened? You dumb son. Hold on. No, go away. I ain't watching that shit. Sorry, I dropped out of character and then I'm still talking like that. Hi, everybody. It's almost 2 a.m, so I'm gonna go to bed because we've had far too much fun. Thank you. And if I continue, it will be this, which is not good for anyone. If this happens, we all need to go to bed. I'm just saying. Thank you for watching. Thanks for your support. Thanks for the super chats. Thanks for the stars. Thanks for just being here and sharing your time with me. Thanks for laughing with me in the face of all this ridiculous nonsense. And I would like to, unequivocally say that Jimmy Dore and Glenn Beck are equal parts monster. Neither one of them has any moral character at all. It's disgusting how easily they flippantly have a disregard for human life after protesting so grandly about how they care more about things than other people. Yeah. Yeah. It's always been a joke. Always and forever. So you guys are fantastic. Thank you. Sorry about the audio dropouts. Honest to God, I'm not sure. It sounds fine in my ear when I'm doing the show. So I don't know why the audio going out would be any different because it doesn't change on there. I will ruminate on, I'll start looking up reasons for why it might happen. But I've tried a couple of things. I even downloaded a second piece of software to see if I could route the audio differently. It isn't the app because it's fine on some channels. So let me, I'll go over it, and like I said, I'll continue to work on it, and I'll see you guys for the radio show tomorrow. Hal Sparks radio program Mega Worldwide is on tomorrow, noon Eastern time for me, which is good because I get to sleep in a little bit. That's rare when I do the morning show and the radio show because I have to get up pretty early, even to just catch up with whatever news happened during the night, And you will be happy to know that I went in to this as well, and I reinstalled my. Did that go through? Yeah, it did. Did you guys hear that? Hold on 1 second. I gotta make sure that. I don't think you did. Hold on. I went in and reinstalled some of the sound effect software and that kind of stuff. Oh, thank you, Deborah, for the super chat. Appreciate that. Thanks for the bits, guys, and thanks for buying ad time on Twitch. It's greatly appreciated. Love you guys for that. It's fantastic. And Philip, yes, tomorrow you should call in. I will. Like I said, I have to send you a separate link to be able to do it. So wish me luck in making that happen. But at the very least, I will see you guys tomorrow for I'll basically be before the show comes on the radio tomorrow, the hour before it, I'm going to be getting my system set up and all that kind of thing. So hopefully all will work out. And I will see you guys tomorrow at our regular time. Now I'm going to go pass out because it's 2 o'clock in the morning where I am. Love you guys. Bye.